I had to get a good pop in there. So some time ago, it's story time. I had started this contract at this facility, and I always say this every time I start a new contract, whenever everybody's always like, how do you get acclimated? How do you do all these orientations, like getting familiar with a brand new facility? Nursing is nursing is nursing. I just need help with where can I find the important things, and please, somebody show me how to work this documentation system. Those are the two things that I just need a few pointers on, and then from there, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because not every healthcare facility uses the same documenting system. And for those of you who don't work in healthcare and you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about when I say documenting system, I mean that there is a system, an electronic health record system, where we have to put our assessment and our almost choked on something. Nothing, actually, I almost choked on air. Anyways, where we, nurses, even CNAs, every single healthcare profession and discipline needs to go to document their findings and their assessment. It's just, you know, a central place. So it's very protected so that the random average Joe can't go online and look up when Joseph Smith was in the hospital and what he was in the hospital for. You know what I'm saying? So getting familiar with that at a new facility can sometimes take me a little bit of time, because sometimes the documenting system from this hospital in Minnesota is the same exact as this one in California. Sometimes it's incredibly similar, so it's easy for you to pick up on it. And other times it's like night and day, black and white, opposite, right? And this facility, I had never used this documenting system before. So I was getting all of my work done, but it didn't look like it, because there's a saying in healthcare: if you didn't document it, it wasn't done. So I told myself I'm going to do all the hands-on stuff first. And then I'm going to sit down, because some people document as they go. It's a preference, whatever. But I was just thinking, I don't want to still have 57 things to do. You know, like I still got to go do this, I still got to grab that, I still got to do this, and be over here on the computer trying to figure out this documenting thing. So I was like, I'm going to do all of the hands-on. I'm at the very least going to understand how to scan off a medication, right? Everything else, I'll figure it out later. So here I am. I've done all of my hands-on. I've seen all of my patients. I've done all of my assessments, yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting down at the computer screen trying to work my way through the things that I already know. And then when I get to a point where I'm stuck, I'll just ask the closest person. And so far, everyone's been helpful. However, during this time, there is one nurse who's getting her own documentation done, and she's sitting on the other side of the nurse's station. It's not a large nurse's station. I'm sitting on one end, she's sitting on the opposite end, right? So at one point, this is probably about my 5th question. She chimes in. I haven't asked her any questions, none whatsoever. I haven't had to, because there have been enough people at the nurse's station to be able to answer me, and they've been kind. So it's not like I'm never asking her again. You know what I'm saying? So she chimes in, probably at like my 5th or 6th question where documenting is concerned. And she's like, how long have you been a nurse? Now, the question did not come across as snooty, you know, or like smart ass-ish. It wasn't, how long have you been a nurse? You know, it was just, how long have you been a nurse? Like a genuine question. And nurses ask one another those questions all the time. So I wasn't like, excuse me, you know? I was like, oh, you know, X amount of years, however long it was at that time. And she was like, really? The shock shocked me. I was like, yeah. And she's like, and you're a traveler. Okay, so the tone has shifted. Okay. It's no longer conversational. Now I'm sensing some judgment. Okay. A little bit of an accusatory tone. I don't know what we're being accused of yet. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. I said, yes, that is correct. I am a traveler. And she was like, that's weird. And then she turns back around and continues documenting. Now, I saw that as a tactic. Like, you're trying to get under my skin and you want me to do something to show you that I am giving in, that you have gotten under my skin. So I'm not going to respond to that. You asked your questions and I answered them. You turned around, which indicated that that was the end of your little interview. I'm not about to be like, well, wait a minute. Why do you, no. I'm not engaging. It feels like you're trying to play a game here. I don't want to play. Okay. So I continue my documenting. I got a long way to go. I am slowly moving through, but I'm moving, okay? I run into another issue and I'm like, hey, excuse me, to one of like the 3 other people that have been really kind in helping me. And she was really cool. She was like, yeah, no worries. This is where you find this. This is where you can do this. No sweat at all. And she's like, I get it. You know, like they cram everything in one day and they expect you to pick up on it. She was really cool. Homegirl over there in the corner. Now remember, I call all of the people I don't like Gertrude. Gertrude turns back around and she's like, I just feel like it's weird that you say you're a travel nurse and it's this hard for you to pick up on the documenting. So the nurse that was being really nice to me and that was helping me ignored the shit out of her. And I felt like that was another indication that the people here are probably aware of this attitude that she's portraying. Whatever this is that she's doing, people here are aware of it. Because we'll call the person that's helping me Kelly. Kelly's like, and then you'll just go ahead and click on this, like completely disregarding her voice. And so I just went along with it. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. Gertrude didn't like that. Now Gertrude stands up and she comes closer. And she's leaning up against the counter and she has her arms crossed. And she's like, so where have you worked? Where else have you worked? So I turn around and I was like, Gertrude, do you think it's possible that we can spare this interview for a time where I'm more familiar with the documenting? And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard to believe that you've been a nurse for this long and you've been traveling for this long and you can't figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna take the bait, Gertrude. I was like, how many other places have you worked? That is when Kelly turns around slowly and looks at her. Now Kelly's intrigued. Gertrude was like, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I've been here for the majority of my career. And I was like, then I'm not sure why you feel like you should have so much to say about me getting familiar with a different documentation system. You've only had to familiarize yourself with this one. You've never gone anywhere else. Now this conversation is getting a little bit heated because Gertrude doesn't like that I'm calling her out on, and it's fine. It's fine if you started one place and you've been there the majority of your career. But that also means that you don't get to say anything about what someone else has to say when their experience is drastically different from yours. Now, granted, you can have something to say, but it can't be judgmental. You can't try to give direction or pointers because you don't have anything to offer where that is concerned. You understand what I'm saying? So she was like, I don't think that that should matter. I feel like you having an abundance of experience means that you should be able to pick up on this stuff quicker. And that's fair. Fair. I should be able to pick up on something based on your expectations. You can have that. But the expectations are misplaced. They're misplaced for a number of reasons. Number one, you don't have as much experience as I do. I feel like that's the equivalent to me trying to say that someone with kids should be doing things the way that I would do it, and I don't have kids. What do I have to offer? You understand? So I expressed as much to little Miss Gertrude. And she was like, I'm just saying, I hope you don't F something up. I was like, I appreciate your concern. You can go ahead and have a seat now because you've already expressed a large amount of information that I did not inquire for. I didn't ask for this. Now she walks off mumbling to herself like, I don't know, like childlike behavior. And immediately I turn back around. I look at Kelly. Kelly rolls her eyes like, please don't even worry about that. And I continue doing what I'm doing. And I'm immediately like, damn, today's going to be a long ass day if I have to deal with, little Miss Gertrude. So the day progresses. I get through my documenting. It took me a long ass time. And I have to go do a nursing skill. So I have to change what's called a colostomy, the entire thing. It's an opening in the stomach where the intestinal wall, the intestine meets the abdominal wall to allow for the patient to have a bowel movement because something has gone wrong that is preventing them from being able to have a bowel movement the natural way. We're not going to get too deep into that because that'll turn into a whole nother YouTube video. So I need to find all of the equipment to do it. Now, I did not know that at this hospital there were certain supply rooms that were designated for certain things. I'm used to going to one supply room, maybe two. One supply room has all the IV stuff and the other one has all the other stuff. That's what I'm used to. So at this point, I've gone to two supply rooms and I can't find what I'm looking for. So I'm like, is there like a central supply, someone that I can call to get the supplies that I need to go do this dressing change, this colostomy bag change? Here come Gertrude, just popping up like we're in high school. Homegirl was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I was like, Gertrude, nobody, absolutely no one is interested in what you're talking about. You're the only one that is doing all of these interviews and asking questions. No one is interested in what you have to say. No one. Hold on to it until someone asks what you have to say. No one has asked. She was like, I'm a grown woman. I'll say what I want to say. Say it. But go over there. Acknowledge that we are also grown and that we deserve to be able to say, I am not interested. Hold on to those words and preserve them for those who are interested. I don't give a shit who you talk to about what you are seeing here today. I don't care. Stop coming and try to talk to me about it. What do you think this is going to get you? We are at the nurse's station as I'm asking someone else where I can find these supplies, not talking to Gertrude. Here she comes. You understand what I'm saying? So Gertrude didn't like that I had all of that to say about her. Gertrude went and had a conversation with the charge nurse. After I find the colostomy supplies, the charge nurse comes up to me and asks if we could have a conversation. I said, not right now. I'm in the middle of something, okay? I finished doing what I'm doing. Okay, we're probably about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through the shift. I sit down to try to get through some more documenting. The charge nurse comes up to me again. She's like, I'd like to chit chat with you. It'll be really fast. I said, you know what? I have a lot of documenting to do. There's not a whole lot of the shift left, and it's going to take me some time to do this. I'm not familiar with this system. If you want to sit next to me and talk about what you want to talk about while I figure this out, that's fine. I am not getting up from here because I won't be staying beyond that 12 hours to do documenting that I couldn't do during the shift because you're interrupting me. I have had it up to here. There's so many. I don't know where anything is. I'm trying to figure out the documenting system, and instead of me being met with a supportive individual, she's bullying me. You understand what I'm saying? And then here comes the charge nurse I don't need to be spoken to. Go talk to her. I was heated. So she did sit down. She does sit down and she says, listen, I understand how Gertrude can be. If I could just ask that you ignore her. I think that that is incredibly childish. If you are coming to sit down and tell me that you know exactly how a staff member is, that you are acknowledging that she has created a reputation to make the environment uncomfortable, and you're asking me to be accommodating for discomfort, absolutely not. I will not do it. So I said as much. I was like, I'm not doing that. If Gertrude approaches me again on some strange and childlike behavior, I will express how I feel. And I will express to her that I find that to be disrespectful. And I'm not going to put up with it. I have a right to do that. If she's a problem, which I'm seeing that. You are telling me you know it. Another coworker has acknowledged it. She's ignored so profoundly here. Why is she still here? And this is what I mean. This is what I mean in a lot of my why am I drawing a blank? Podcast episodes, some of my previous videos. In a lot of situations, yes, there is a severe nursing shortage. But if you keep someone that is causing a problem, that is only going to enhance the shortage, because a nurse will come ready to work, deal with Gertrude and be like, I'm not doing this, and then leave. So now you're holding on to this one person and you're losing 3 to 4 of the people in the process because of the nursing shortage. Are you not contributing to the shortage? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, let's get to the bottom of this because I'm going to be here for the rest of the day. That whole situation pissed me off. So the rest of the shift comes and goes. Gertrude doesn't say anything to me directly. It's just a bunch of mumbling under her breath. And I had something to say to the supervisor, not the charge nurse, but the unit manager, and express myself. I was like, I personally feel like y'all need to take into consideration that if one person is causing a problem amongst a number of people, then the people aren't the problem. Like, I think it's incredibly strange that we have to do that. We have to talk about that. And she's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear you. We're just dealing with a lot of changes and, we're taking it one step at a time. I think that's childish. I think it's crazy. And I think that having these experiences and experiencing these kinds of personalities is really what contributed to me being a better and a stronger nurse. Like, not even so much the skills, but this, me coming to be reprimanded for not knowing what the culture is here where this one person is concerned. The culture is we ignore her. We keep her. We let her continue being a problem, but we just ignore it. Fascinating. Anyways, real quick side note, click that link below. Donate to my storytelling, not my podcast, my campaign. I've written a comic book. See, this is how you know I'm still irritated about that whole thing. Don't click the link below. It's my Kickstarter campaign. I'm trying to turn my comic book into an anime series. And, if y'all are feeling generous, you can donate to my storytelling podcast, Zyla. And, consider purchasing some of my books. Click that Linktree link, see what else I have going on. Show your girl some love. I love you guys. Thank you.